Well, good evening and welcome back to Discover Your Intuitive Self. And I am your host, Brenda Reading. And this evening, I am so excited to bring you a special guest, Reverend Susan Stush. She is a medium, a paranormal investigator, and tarot reader extraordinaire. Welcome, Susan.
Thank you for that lovely introduction. Goodness. Here I am.
Yeah. You are here. You are live, baby. Anyways, I'm so excited you're here because you have so much experience in so many different realms. And what I want our listeners to know is I usually ask my guests one question that's the same, and that is, how did you begin to realize that you had spiritual gifts?
That's such a tough one because it was one of those things where I just kind of fell into it, just like I usually do, because that's what I do. A lot of mediums and a lot of psychics and people who deal with esoteric processes say that they've been seeing spirits since they were 3. I've always known I was psychic. I always knew I could talk to the dead. I didn't know any of that. I don't have a conscious memory before 5, so it's like, no, I wasn't seeing anything dead or anything else. I do know that something was weird, and I know I was saying that I knew something was off. I was a very nervous child, a lot of anxiety, a lot of things. I was just fearful of a lot until I started to get a little bit older. It's one of those things. I kind of knew something. I was rolling towards something. I just didn't know what it was. And I literally one day, it was actually a year before my dad had passed. And I got up out of bed one morning and just decided I was going to teach myself how to read tarot cards. Nothing prompted this. I have no idea why. It just popped into my head. And I just went out, bought a deck, and just started the process myself and just continuously, just kind of, you had to go through those steps, the development steps. And that's when I became acquainted with Lilydale. And our little, that's where we met.
Yes.
Back in 2005, I think it was. That's how long it's been.
Ages.
And after I had taken a tarot course there, a 3-day tarot course, and I was there 2 nights, and I was hooked. And the next season, I saw this mediumship development course. I had no idea what that meant, but I just thought, okay, well, yeah, let's just go to this. And look how many long, fast friends that we've met through that process. And that's how it actually began. So it was actually in steps. You start not quite knowing where you want to go, and then, you start with the psychic process. Yeah, why not? It's a bona fide way to springboard yourself to something else if you want to do that.
Right.
Right. The paranormal thing, that was like a flash sideways. I how you get, you only get Lilydale for 10 weeks in the summer. And in those days, they didn't have the Zoom classes online. They didn't have any of this stuff. And you know what it's like being from Western New York. I'm not getting in my car and I'm not driving in January to Lilydale.
For sure.
You're going to die, no pun intended, on that road. Because it's just, the winters are just brutal, or at least they used to be. Yeah. Anyway, so I went on a website and I found this thing called something called paranormal investigation. No idea what it was. It's another one of them things where I'm just walking into stuff blindly.
You think you are walking
exactly.
blindly. Yeah. Little did you know you have peeps on the other side that are guiding your every move. Yep. Go ahead.
Yep. And that's exactly it. There are no coincidences.
Right.
And put a call, just picked one and put a call or put an email in and said, hey, I'm a medium. I'd like to tag along because I kind of like to talk to dead people. So, and you're talking to dead people. So let's have a party. Why not? So they think I'm nuts because little did I know that mediums and paranormal investigators really didn't get along.
No.
No. No.
Why not?
Yeah. Well.
What happened? Tell us what happened.
Well, no. The one guy was very intrigued, and he said, "We'd like to give you a shot." let's, would you go on an investigation? I'm like, yeah, sure. Well, it was two husband and wife teams. And then the one couple's son went with us. And we actually went to the Dunkirk Lighthouse.
Okay.
That was my first investigation. They had no idea how I had no idea how I was going to do this. Again, walking into stuff completely clueless and just trying to say, okay, well, we'll just make this up as we go along. So I get there and I'm thinking, okay, well, you guys need to go and do your whatever it is that you do. I don't want to know about anything prior to this because I don't want to contaminate my reading. Mm-hmm. Again, making this process up as I go along. And so they said, well, you go over there. And they assigned me a guard, which was Eddie, the son. Watch the crazy lady. You don't want her to do anything weird. I don't know what that would have been. Like my head wasn't going to spin around or anything. So I'm standing there, I'm looking out on Lake Erie, and I panicked. And I literally panicked. And I'm like, oh my God, I have promised to tell these people I'm going to do this. I don't even know if I could do this. And I just sent an intention out there to the universe that whoever in the heck was out there needed to get their hiney down here now because I'm in a bind here, babe. I need some help. And, who knew that was going to be the magic word that makes spirit come down and, straighten it out. And literally the information was flowing so fast, I couldn't keep up with it. Mm-hmm. And I just said, I turned around, I'm like, that's it. We're done. Let's go. I'm ready to read. And the guy's like, what? Okay, so we go in, I'm stomping through this lighthouse. The information's just like pouring out. Mm-hmm. And the guys at the time, I heard them on a break arguing that Eddie must have left me alone. And I snuck in and heard all the stuff that was going on.
Yeah, that had to be it.
Like, that had to be it. It's just like, seriously? I'm standing out here. I'm having an existential crisis, but that's okay. So, but they were just like, wow, that was pretty cool. And that's how it all started. And, we kind of started figuring out how we were going to do this thing with a medium because they'd never worked with that before. Mm-hmm. It's fun. It is just fun. Yeah. I don't even know what else to say. It really and truly is. You're missing something great. And the folks, once they get, it's a level of understanding, Brenda. You know that.
Right.
With anything. They don't have a level of understanding. I didn't have a level of understanding. So
you just took the plunge, so to speak, and you did it.
Absolutely. And there was a lot of plunging going on, yes.
And that's one of the things we talk about on my show is that, everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people that are in this awakening or unfoldment, as our mentor Judith and teacher would tell us, as the unfoldment occurs, a lot you have to overcome the fear and you have to jump in and trust that spirit has your back. And they always do. So, and I think it's important because everybody's on a different journey. They're on and I should say, they come to this, we all get to the same place in the end, but how we get there is different. And that's okay. Everybody doesn't have to, like you say, see people as a child or, get struck by lightning or whatever it is. It's like everybody gets on this path in their own way, what's exactly right for them. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's where, it's interesting. So I want you to tell, because I remember you telling this one story when we were in Lilydale about how you had the occasion to help somebody cross over and then they didn't have their information at one of your investigations. You had tell about how you had you had the spirit there, right? And then you knew that they needed to leave. And you sent them on their merry way, right? Go to the light, whatever it was. And then the next day, tell that.
You mean that they didn't know what that meant?
Yeah, but I think you said the next day when they went back to do their measurements and stuff like that with all their funky machines, the spirit had left because you did your job.
They were gone. Yes, and there was like a little bit of a disconnect with that because I didn't really understand that this is here and this needs to leave.
Yeah.
This needs to leave. And so I don't think there was a clear understanding of what was going on there. And so I just, this is what you're going to do. You got to have the chat, send them on their merry way. And I mean, that's very general. There's usually a little more difficulty involved, but we'll go with that. So, yeah, they went back and I said, well, they're gone. They're like, what do you mean they're gone? Well, aren't they supposed to be gone? I mean, I'm just assuming they knew that they were supposed to be gone. She said, well, they couldn't come back and like measure them, you know, right. or right. come back and that's something that actually another medium had said to me. It's kind of like what they call the paranormal zoo. That you consistently the investigators go back to these places over and over and over and over and over again with no offering of help to the spirit for it to move on. So it's kind of like visiting the zoo and like, you know, throwing peanuts at the elephant in the cage, you know, and it's like, well, I mean, I don't think they're trying to be disrespectful, but I think it's just like, again, like it was a lack of understanding. But there are some places where you're just going to have that activity, and some just don't want to really move on. You know, I'm sorry, I'm not the type, and there are a lot of mediums who practice soul rescue, and they trick them to go, tell them that there's something going on in the light, or that this is what they're going to find in the light, or it doesn't matter. I'm not tricking anybody. That's not helping them on their spiritual journey. To trick them to get them over there. They need to go of their own free will. I'm a big proponent of free will, so that's where I come from with that. But yeah,
so I can only imagine. You know, it's like, yes, Susan, you can come with us on our next paranormal if you don't send the ghost over to the light, because the next day we need to come back and measure it. Exactly.
But it's most of the time, like in a private residence. You know, I've done two rescues in private residences, and that needed to be handled. You know, you need to handle that because it's like you don't want this stuff hanging around. It's just not supposed to be hanging around. Yeah. So, but the bigger places, like when you go to these huge, like Waverly Hills, or you go to the Ohio Reformatory, or the big paranormal meccas. Yeah. You know, actually,
there's a lot of activity to be tracking, right? So
absolutely. So
they're not going to miss their occasional spirit that Reverend Susan Stush helps on their merry way to the other side.
Yeah, so and usually that's
amazing.
Right. Usually most of what's going on there, the team that I have been working with lately, well, we haven't been doing much with COVID, it's just been a very, it's just been odd. We'll leave it at that. They fully understand the process. It's another husband and wife team, and Bill and Katie, and they're fabulous folks, and they fully understand. Billy is full on board with that, and we worked with the previous team too, so we're well acquainted with each other and what we do and how we do it, and we kind of know when to stay out of each other's hair.
That's great. So this service that you provide, it all falls underneath the. You are a reverend, and you do perform rituals. You perform marriages. Yes. You do all types of services, and you also do readings. And if our listeners wanted to connect with you, for whatever reason, how would they find you, Sue?
I do have a website for my her rituals, which is my facilitator, my ceremony facilitator website, and it's eerierituals.com. And they can reach
E-R-I-E, right? E-R-I-E.
Yes, not
E-R-I-E, right.
Totally forgot about that.
Lake Erie, yes. eerierituals.com.
Yes. They can email me, or they can actually send me a message through that. Yeah. And I'm also on Facebook under Rituals. Okay. Don't really do much with the Facebook, but yeah.
Awesome. So just as an aside here before we take a caller, so with the COVID and everything else, we've had to become, and you brought it up earlier, we've had to become better at communicating with other people on this side in regards to readings and things like that using Zoom and, FaceTime and other, and like this radio show, it goes out to all over the place. So, for our listeners, I just would like you to talk about how you think that the Zoom, is working. Is it working for your clients? Do you feel that it works when you're giving a reading or, connecting with someone in regards to the exchange of energy?
Yeah, it does. I've done card readings, tarot over Zoom, and I don't find it a hindrance at all.
Yeah, I feel the same.
With tarot, it's more like I'm more with myself. You know what I mean? I'm tuned into myself, and I don't need somebody just sitting there. They can be sitting there, that's fine. But for the most part, I'm more engrossed in the cards and what the cards are talking. And at that time, sometimes, spirit will make itself known during that process. Not very often, but sometimes. It's getting to be more often than not.
Yeah. And I know that when we were in Circle earlier in the year, I mean, when we first started, we were like, oh, can we actually do a message circle on Zoom? You can.
Yeah.
And
oh my gosh.
Yes. And
that was amazing.
And it's like spirit doesn't need Zoom. We need Zoom. Because spirit doesn't need Zoom.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So anyways, let's try to take a caller, okay?
Sure.
I think her name is Roseanne.
Okay.
Roseanne, are you still with us?
I am right here.
Hi, Roseanne. Hi. Say hi to my guest, Susan Stush.
Hi, Roseanne. How are you?
Do you have a question for tonight, or were you looking for a spot reading, or how can we help you?
Well, I would want to know more than anything else would be actually two things. One, if my current living situation would get any better, and if my late husband is at peace. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, Susan, yeah. I'm going to hop in first, if you don't mind.
Yes,
and
go.
Then we can piggyback off each other if you'd like.
Sure.
As far as your late husband, I feel like he most definitely is at peace. I do feel like before he left, there were issues that he was working on. I want to say emotional type things that he was working on. But I think once you cross over to the other side, I mean, it's like there's no judgment, right? There's no judgment, and he sees things for what they truly are. And I think if there was any type of resentment or guilt or any of that stuff, I think he left it over here. Okay, I don't think he's harboring anything on that side. I feel like there's a D. Did he have a D name by any chance?
No, a C.
A C. Okay. Anyways, I've had a Dan hanging out with me here for the last half hour, so I just wanted to throw that out to you. But anyways, yeah. So I do feel that he's at peace, on the other side. And in regards to your living situation, it feels a little cramped for me. Does that resonate with you as far as it being cramped?
I have a lot of space. Cramped would be, I am currently my mother is living downstairs from me, and she's a lot to handle.
Enough said. Enough said.
That's the cramp right there. That's the big cramp.
Yeah. I'm just going to tell you, I'm seeing the number 6. I think it's going to be 6 months before things change too much, Roseanne. So, I mean, that's just what I'm seeing. Can you hang out for 6 more months? Because that's what I'm seeing. But yeah, you can do anything for 6 months, right? Yeah.
No, 6 months is cake. That's a cakewalk.
Cake. Oh, you have a great attitude, Sue. You want to hop in at any time?
Yeah, there's something about summer. Did your husband pass in the summer?
He passed in December.
No, then something's gonna. I'm thinking of something in the summer, Brenda. I kind of like when you were chatting there. It was like I was getting this feeling like around June. Something will present itself about your living situation, so it'll put you on the track of your next stop, or the next step you have to take in order to get where you want to go. So whatever that is, I'm thinking around June. I'm going to agree with you on that one, Bren.
Yeah, that's about 6 months.
Yeah.
Roseanne.
And it's not even, it's not that it's going to be like a snap. It's going to be, it's going to be your next step in order to get where you want to go.
That sounds about right, because I'm actually having a major surgery in 2 weeks, and it's going to take me till June to heal.
There you go.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense.
I'm feeling like I want to ask you, who holds the deed to the place you're in? If she's in the downstairs and you're in the upstairs, I mean, because I'm feeling like you're going to be looking to rent the upstairs. Okay. So is this a piece of property that you own or that she owns?
This is property that my mother currently owns, but it's in a family trust. It's interesting you said deed, because I'm in the process of selling the home that I just left.
Okay.
Oh boy. Okay, that makes sense, because I've got a legal feel going on.
Yeah. Right.
I was kind of hesitant to say anything, but it was like I thought there was some type of a legal process involved here.
Yep. And
I actually have the deed on my dresser right now. The deed to my house is on my dresser.
Okay. All right. So then it's in her name, but I think, okay, it's a family trust, so it's not something you have to worry about it being sold out from under you. You know what I mean?
No, not at all.
That's good. So that makes it a choice. All right. So you have choices. Okay. Because there was something about whose name is this house in? That's what I was hearing. So, okay.
Right, but that other thing too is I think that any kind of resolution is not going to happen until then. Even though you're going to be in your recovery process, that next step is not going to come until June, or any type of resolution that is going to get you to your next step.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, because I mean, there's going to be physical therapy involved in this too, right?
Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Is this hip related?
No, it's my spine actually.
Okay, because I'm feeling it down in my hips. Okay, I feel that
it goes from my back to my hip all the way to my foot. It's horrible.
Okay, yeah, because that's where I'm feeling the issue. So yeah, so you know what? It's just don't fret. You know what I mean? Know that it's going to be 6 months now, and it sounds like you have a great attitude about it. You said it's a piece of cake, but sometime around May, you want to start maybe thinking about getting your ducks in a row, right? So.
The only place I really, once this whole, pandemic is over and flight restrictions are lifted, I really need to go back to England, because my husband was British, and I've been promising the family that I would go and see them, and I have not been able to do that.
Oh, England.
Oh, wow, yeah. How exciting.
My second home.
Yeah.
That's
and I think
lovely.
it's interesting that you said you saw unresolved issues with him. There really weren't. Yeah. He was the most beautiful soul I've ever known in my life. The most wonderful man. I think we argued twice in all the time we've known each other.
Oh,
why
wow.
I was wondering, if he settled is because he died so suddenly. It was incredibly unexpected.
I feel that he's had guilt. He had guilt because he left you like that. That's what I feel. I feel
that
like
would make sense.
There was guilt, and then I don't know what the resentment is. I felt like there was resentment going on there someplace, but let's just go back. Yeah, there was like guilt for leaving you so fast, but he's at peace. It's not anything he was working on. I still think there might have been something. Your husband. I mean, I'm just a medium here, so I don't even know who I'm talking to. So, yeah, but it's like, right, I don't know who I got here. I just got, things going on. But, yeah. He might not have told you everything that was bothering him, Roseanne? He might have been that kind of guy.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I had felt that he was ill. And I kept asking him to go to the doctor for like a solid month before he had a heart attack.
Wow. See, you
And
had
you would
intuition.
not-
You had intuition. So
Everybody's got
I'm
it.
pretty empathic
That's right.
myself.
yeah. Well,
But
Roseanne, we only
think-
have about 40 seconds left here, so I'm gonna thank you for calling in tonight and sharing with us your husband, who had a name with a C, not a D, and know that he is at peace. And I just want to thank my guest, Susan Stush. I'm so happy you came on with us tonight just to share some of the information that you have.
That was awesome.
Yeah, and like you said, EerieRituals.com?
.com. Sure.
EerieRituals.com. For my listeners, I am having a crazy half-hour, $50 session special. Just go to my website, BrendaReedy.com, to contact me. And just know that what came out of this show tonight is that however you get on your path is perfect. Have a good night,
Absolutely.
everyone.
Bye.